Coming up on the official Celtic FC podcast, Celtic legend Scott Brown reflects on his glory days in the hoops.
It's a fantastic place to play in front of 60,000 fans week in, week out, and they expect you to set standard.
And the former captain looks ahead to Sunday's Foundation charity match at Celtic Park.
It's been a while since I've actually had boots on and played in a proper game, so it'll be fantastic to get back, especially coming back to Paradise as well.
This is the official Celtic FC podcast.
Hello and welcome to the official Celtic FC podcast, the podcast home of the champions of both the men's and the women's team. And the podcast episodes are coming thick and fast. We've chatted to some of Brendan Rodgers' players. We've chatted to some of Elena Sudoku's players. And we thought just for a special treat, we'd get a man who knows all about winning titles more than just about anyone else that's played for Celtic. Of course, I'm talking about this man here, Scott Brown, who's also been voted by you, the supporters, as our legendary Player of the Year at our recent Player of the Year awards at the Hydro. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm very good. All the better for seeing you. It's always great to see you back at Paradise. I have to tell people that you've hot-footed it from the pitch. You were having a wee run around as a warm-up for Sunday's Foundation game out there for 20 minutes, half an hour. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was all right. It was good to play, get my boots back on and play in Celtic Park, which was fantastic, and to play with the lads as well. It's good for them just to get a little bit of banter and, as you say, get a little bit of runabout before Sunday, which should hopefully be a very good occasion.
I mean, there's been a few various games that have been on the pitch, obviously, towards the end of the season. I can only imagine it must have been like for those guys, because they wouldn't have known that you were coming along and suddenly you rock up in the dressing room. I'm thinking they're probably thinking we need to up our game here.
When I went off, all I know was we were winning at half time, so that's the main one. I've got bragging rights over Sid and Stan, so hopefully it finishes that way. I came up to do a wee quick interview with yourself.
Brilliant. And I mentioned there, it's obviously a sort of warm-up for the three of you. You've got the game this Sunday, the Foundation game, Celtic Legends against Borussia Dortmund Legends. How much are you looking forward to coming back and playing in that?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've actually had boots on and played in a proper game, so it'll be fantastic to get back, especially coming back to Paradise as well and playing in front of the fans. And as I say, it's my last few games here where there was nobody here, so it'd be good to see them as well. And
I've spoke to a few of the guys that are going to be playing, and one of the things, obviously they're all looking forward to playing in the game, and as you say, playing in front of the fans. I think it's that idea of just getting back together in the dressing room with guys that you shared so many great Celtic memories with.
Yeah, I keep in touch with quite a lot of the lads, but it's actually seeing them in person, having a little bit of banter, and I think we're going out for a meal the night before as well, so that'll be good to see them all, and hopefully it's good news as well this Saturday, especially for the kick-off at Hampden.
I mean, I'm guessing, because you're obviously not that long finished playing, that there'll be some of the players that will be looking to you to do the running for them.
Gary Hooper's still playing, right, so I'm looking forward to seeing how much running he does do, because when he played and he was in his prime, he did not run anywhere near what he should do. But no, I'm buzzing to see the lads, him, Joe, Sammy, Arthur. There's a lot of the lads, Charlie, and I see quite a lot being local as well, so Charlie's still fit as a fiddle. There'll be a lot of the lads that are in good shape and that have been looking after themselves.
And that's one of the, for me as a fan, and I know for everybody that's going to be there, one of the great things when you see former players is it brings back all these amazing memories. And some of the players, obviously like Barry Robson, Big Jan, very good of Hesselink, they were there for that kind of first title triumph that you had in 2008. But then you've obviously got the guys like Charlie and these guys and Joe that were there, because you've kind of spanned that kind of 14, 15 years of success that we had. So it's great that there's almost like, not quite two generations, but two different teams almost that we can celebrate and remember.
Yeah, definitely. And I spoke to Robbo yesterday, and he's away down to get an injection just to make sure he's ready to play in this game. So it shows you how our bodies are going through a little bit of transition, shall I say. But at the same time, as you say, it's going to be great to see these lads as well. And Rob will be telling me that he scored with his first touch ever of football for Celtic. So I'm sure he'll bring that up a couple of times.
Well, funny, when I was speaking to him, and it's always amazing. You know, obviously you were there for so many years and achieved so much, and he was there for a couple of years. Wish they'd joined earlier. Wish they'd stayed longer. But you can tell even just from talking to him how much he loved it when he was here. Yeah,
like that's the main thing. Celtic's a huge club, and a lot of people down south do not understand how big it is. And once you leave, you'll regret it. And I think everybody's in the same boat. Try and play here as long as you possibly can. It's a fantastic place to play in front of 60,000 fans week in, week out, and they expect you to set standards, and you've got to have a personality to do that. You've got to have a drive and an ambition as well to put a smile on all those fans, and we've done that so many times, especially recently, and Brendan and the lads are doing that now.
It's funny you say that about maybe people down south don't appreciate it, and it's one of the things that struck me that in the last couple of weeks is Joe Hart getting ready to retire, and he spoke really movingly about being here. And again, he came up here, and maybe until he got here, didn't quite realise the scale of it. He totally embraced everything to do with this club, and then he's kind of said to people, when people said, "What would you say?" He said, "I wouldn't say anything. You either want to come here and enjoy this, or you make a different decision. But if you come here, you'll definitely enjoy it."
Yeah, I'm sure Joe would be saying that to himself if he was 10 years younger as well. And it's a fantastic club. Joe's done brilliant since coming to the club as well. And all he knows about since coming here is winning titles. So it's a fantastic thing for a player of his hype as well, and what he's done in the game down in England for Man City, for England as well, to come up here and to have that buzz, to play in front of 60,000, to win trophies, and to have that love with the fans as well. It shows you it is an emotional club, but at the same time, everyone comes together, the fans, the players, the staff, we all work together to try and get the best outcome possible for this club.
Now, I mentioned right at the start that the fans voted you the legendary player of the year. It was the 20th award ceremony that the club had done, so they, we chose the player of the year from all the past 20 events. Only you and Callum have won the player of the year award twice, but the fans voted you, and there's the trophy that you've brought in today. Sadly, you weren't able to make it to the event at the Hydro, but we saw the video message that you gave to the fans, but that must be nice. Obviously, I mean, as a fan, I know that we'll never forget what you did, because you did it. It was extraordinary what you did do, but it must be nice sometimes to be reminded of just how much you mean to the fans.
Oh, it's amazing. When the club told me that I won it, I'd never thought in a million years that I would ever win this, and to having that understanding with myself and the fans as well, because as I say, everywhere I go, I bump into Celtic fans, and they always put a smile on my face, and they always talk about the good times, winning leagues, winning cups, and winning trebles and stuff like that. And that's what the club brings to people. It brings everyone together, as I say. But to win that trophy, that means more than any word that I can possibly say, because there's millions of Celtic fans out there, and for them to vote me, I can't express that into words, and it's just amazing, and I'd like to thank every single one of them. And I was gutted that I couldn't make it. My holiday time is very, very precious as well, because the kids need to make sure I can't take them out of school too much, so it's important that I manage to spend a lot of time with them as well. But at the same time, I was devastated, especially when I seen the room in the Hydro and what it was like, and I'd like to thank Charlie and Lenny to go up and collect my award, because I probably couldn't think of two better people that had finished the game.
Yeah, I mean, they both, again, they spoke obviously movingly about being at Celtic themselves, but then obviously they know you, and they're such an important part. Obviously, Neil's your manager for a period, but also Charlie's a kind of really close friend in the dressing room. As you say, for them to come up and collect the award on your behalf must have been great as well.
Yeah, Lenny brought me to the club, and the gaffer was huge for me, because, didn't bring me to the club, kept me at the club. Kept me as captain as well when Tony obviously had left, and he put a lot of faith in me, because I could have left at the end of the season, but he wanted to make sure that he pretty much made the squad around myself and Aidan and people like that, Jamesy as well. So it was important that we all stayed together. We made sure that we won this, because the manager was a winner, I was a winner, Jamesy was a winner, and then Callum comes in and Callum's a winner, and it's important that you have that, and you've got the love for the club as well. And we need to make sure we keep people like James and Cal, because you see Jamesy now. James has just got in the Scotland squad. I couldn't think of anything better. I just texted him. I'm absolutely buzzing for him. And also how well he's came back, because he's not been playing that much, but he's one of these players that works extremely hard. And Brendan still talks about him being the best winger at the club, receiving the ball on the touchline, and that's what people want to see. You want to see creative players, especially at the club, and you want to see good goals. You want to see people that have got that love and that bond with the fans as well.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I think he's just a legend, and again, he's one of those players in years to come. People will say, "Did you see James Forrest play?" Because I mean, it's extraordinary. I mean, you were there from day one of his Celtic career, and watched how he's developed as a player, as a man, and he seems to do everything just in the right way. It epitomises for me everything that's great about this club.
He's a proper professional. He loves the club. He wants to work hard. He wants to get better. And every manager that's came in, he's learned, he's listened, and he's wanted to do the best for them, because he's not a man to down his tools, whether he's in the team or not. Because James has been in and out a lot throughout managers, but at the end of the time, you see the managers, big games, play James Forrest. James, he scores goals. He creates goals. He's the only player that I've been with that's got 100 assists and 100 goals for the same club. So it shows you how well he's done at the club.
And when you look at that the list of honours, Bobby Lennox has won 25 major honours. James has now surpassed you with this league title. He's in 23 along with Billy McNeil. You're in 22. Callum's in 21. That's pretty good company that both of them are keeping in terms of you, Billy McNeil and Bobby Lennox.
Should have stayed for another couple of years. Yeah, no, honestly, James is going to keep going. Cal's going to keep going. And you want them to win as many as they possibly can. And I know, obviously, they didn't win the first cup, but they've got a huge opportunity to go and win the second cup. And especially against Rangers, they showed how good they can play out here against Rangers. And as I say, anything can happen on the day, but the main thing is they continue to play the way they do, work hard for each other and play the Celtic way. That's very, very important. Brendan's got a fantastic team there, and it was always going to be a little bit different from what Angie's team is, because every manager that comes in, there's a little change in formation, tactics-wise, or a couple of players come and a couple of players go. It's part and parcel, but Brendan's a fantastic manager, and we've seen what he's done in the past, and he'll do that again, and that's what great managers do.
Because there's always been that sense, regardless, and he's said it's been a challenging season, there's just always that sense that he has just exuded that calmness within the squad at all times, and you'll know better than anyone just how good he is, not just in terms of what he delivers success, but just day in, day out on the training field.
He's a fantastic manager as well. He knows how to get the boys together. He knows there's going to be dips in form, and he can chop and change teams. He can do that with formations as well and players individually. But it's about how he is daily with the lads, and he's never high, he's never low. He's continuously focused. He knows the job. Whatever happens, whether you lose a game at the weekend, whether you win the game, he is the main man that he understands what you need to do to win games, and that's what you want. That, as you say, it's calmness as a manager. You don't want to see somebody one morning flying high because they won 1-0, then the next week you get beat, they're devastated, and it's the end of the world. People are going to lose football games. It's going to happen, but it's about how you bounce back, and Brendan's got that bounce back ability. He's got the lads, and obviously it was always going to be hard for the fans when he first came back. But Brendan loves this football club more than anything, and he's shown that, and his willingness and desire to come back, it means a lot to him and his family, this football club.
And we should say as well as congratulations to James Forrest, Callum McGregor, Greg Taylor and Anthony Ralston are all in Steve Clarke's provisional squad, and we're hoping they'll all go to the Euros and help Scotland as well. You're obviously, going down this path in the next stage of your career in terms of management. You're now in charge at Ayr United, but I know from speaking to you before, likes of Brendan, Neil, Gordon, these are the guys that if and when you need it, you can just pick up the phone and have a chat with them.
Yeah, they're my go-to men, those three.
And that's pretty impressive.
No, it's amazing. It's brilliant for me as well to have that relationship with managers, and I still call them all Gaffer. I speak to Gordon, I'm like, "Hi Gaffer, how are you?" And
what happens if all three of them are in the same room?
It's Gaffer, how are you? No, but they have been in the same room together, and the three of them got on really well together as well, because, as I say, it's love for a football club. And Gordon Strachan was never a Celtic fan when he came, but you see how much he does for the football club and how much he appreciates being at the club and what the club means to him. And Lenny, we all know, that loves this club, and it's the first thing that he probably wakes up, and when he goes to bed it's the last thing he thinks about. And now he's got a new job as well, going over to Romania, so fantastic news for him too.
Now you joined Ayr United in January, and I think if anybody watches the Championship, and I think one thing that struck me this season, there's a real fine line between, Dundee United were maybe just that wee bit ahead in terms of, they obviously finished top, but between second and the bottom of the table, there wasn't really much to choose between the teams really, and from when you came in, for example, you beat Airdrie, who ended up in the playoff, you beat Partick Thistle and Rotherham, who ended up in the playoff, and you had two very, very narrow losses to Raith Rovers, who are now in the playoff final. That must give you encouragement going forward when you've got a full season, full pre-season that you can work with your team. It's within touch and distance to get at those playoff places.
Yeah, that's the plan for next season, and the lads have done fantastic since myself and Stephen came in. They've worked their socks off. We've wanted to have a team that presses, and I learned from great managers here, and especially in the last couple of seasons under Brendan, about how pressing and shape and structure behind the ball is very, very important. And you've got to put that in, but it's okay talking about it and saying I want to do this, but you actually have to show them and make sure you drill that into them. And that's where, as I say, I've learned under fantastic managers, and I always wrote down as much as I possibly could, because you forget small details, and that's one good thing. When I first went to go and see Brendan, he had a book, it was this thick, and he was like, "This is my Liverpool stuff," and he had the Swansea stuff, he had other stuff, Reading and that, so it's amazing how he kept notes like that as well, because he's like, sometimes I need to go back and I maybe need to change small details, but he says it's always there what I write down, how I work, how structurally from Monday to the Friday it's all based up on the opponents that we're playing. And if there is a midweek game, it's quite hard to obviously fluctuate your training facilities and put in your philosophy and training, but at the same time you need to make sure you drive that in pre-season. And pre-season is going to be interesting because we can start to build our own team now. We've lost a few people, we'll bring in a few people more as well, and hopefully it is to try and push up that table and to challenge in those playoffs and see where we can go.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, I've watched quite a few of the Championship games this season, and I think people maybe don't realise the standard. It's sometimes, there's that argument about should there be an expanded top flight, because there's certainly teams that are in the Championship that can more than compete with a lot of the teams in the Premiership.
You look at Dundee United coming down. Dundee United have a fantastic budget for our league, and they'll go up and they'll do really well because they have got a good base of budget, and at the end of the day money talks. And there are Raith Rovers, Partick that are fantastic clubs as well as what Ayr are as well. We're trying to build, the chairman's building a new stand. He's putting money into the club, so he's got an ambition as well, and that's why we went to Ayr. He has an ambition, we've got an ambition, and we're not happy enough just sitting 9th, 8th, 7th in the table. We want to try and push ourselves and see how far we can actually go.
Yeah, because I'm old enough to remember the good old days when Ayr United were in the top flight. So it's one of those teams. Traditionally, it's a big name.
Yeah, definitely, and we could be sleeping giants, and we want to try and push the club as much as we possibly can, but we all have to drive in the same direction.
Now, Celtic fans, in a way, can play their part in that. Obviously, July the 5th, there's going to be a pre-season game. It's to mark the opening of this new stand down at Ayr, and it's Celtic are going to be taking a team down there as well. Just when the Celtic, the champions of Scotland are back preparing for the new season, that'll be, obviously it's a great chance for Celtic fans to go and see the team. It's a great chance for Ayr for their fans to see your team. Hoping maybe a wee bit further on in terms of your pre-season preparations. It's a big game, so you're hoping as many people as possible can get along.
Yeah, it'd be great to see Celtic fans take over Ayr. I would love to see all the fans down at the game. It would mean so much to myself as well. And plus, Celtic fans support Celtic through everything, through thick and thin, winning or loss. They travel the world. They go to Spain. They go watch us in Barcelona. And when we've managed to compete against them, we've been beat as well. And they still sing. They still chant. They travel in their thousands. So hopefully, a wee 45 minutes down the road, they can come along in their thousands as well. And it'd be great because the new stand that's opening, it brings a lot of money into the club, and hopefully the club can maintain itself for a long, long time, and that's what the chairman's ambition is. But for us to see our quality players, to Celtic's quality players, to see how they play and how they press and the tempo of their game towards ours, and we've got to set that as our benchmark, and that's going to be a huge game for us, and we'll be in a little bit earlier than what Celtic will be due to them being still playing at this moment in time. But we're still trying to get players in, and hopefully we've got a good enough squad, and we've got it settled in by then.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no doubt that the Celtic fans will be along in July the 5th to cheer the team on.
There'll be no bad tackles, I swear. I'll be like, sorry Gaff, I didn't mean it.
We started talking just about you coming out to play here on Sunday for the Foundation game. If we can finish on that as well. Obviously, I know over many, many years, and the Foundation will be the first people to say how much you've supported them. Sometimes, front facing, but a lot of times, a lot of things you're doing behind the scenes just to support the work they do. Raising money for the Foundation, obviously there's a personal element in terms of some of the money that's getting raised as well for the hospital in Dundee, in relation to the treatment that they gave to your sister at the time. And I suppose that must be special for you. I know the Foundation's very close to your heart, but the fact that the Foundation are still acknowledging you and what you and family went through as well.
Yeah, the Foundation been brilliant. Since the day I came here, I've tried to work with them, and till the day they don't want me, and even small things like playing in the games and that, and I enjoy that. If it can help them out, raise some money, and we can bring them along. Stan and wee Sid as well has been brilliant for the club, and no matter what, you've got Boydie there. Boydie turns up every day. He works probably for nothing. He just loves the club that much. So anything that we can give back to help, or to help the people that are maybe in need of a little bit of help, it always puts a smile on our face, and it's always nice to be nice, and we've had a privileged situation of we've been able to play in front of 60,000 people. And so some people around the area are maybe not getting fed and maybe not getting 3 meals a day, and some kids and stuff like that. So if we can help feed kids, the more fans and the more support there is for these games and for the foundation, it'll help them feed the needed in the area.
And obviously, as you said, we're hoping that Sunday will be a celebration, and we hope that Brendan and his team lifted the Scottish Cup the previous day. It's also a great chance for your former teammates just to get in the huddle and hear those inspirational words once again.
I'm not sure they want to hear me talk anymore these days, and they've heard me enough shout at them and give them jip. But no, it'll be good to get back together as a team and to see the lads on the pitch and to see the fans as well. And it's going to be a great occasion, as you say. The main one is take nothing away from the game on Sunday, that we win the game on Saturday. It's going to be huge for the club, and especially if you win that the lads coming back to Celtic Park and seeing fans outside as well. There's nothing better as a player to see those fans come back and celebrate with you, and then you know you can celebrate as well. And that will be the end of their season. They go away, they get ready for going away on international, they go on holiday, they go and celebrate. And as you say, there's people like Joe Hart and Carter Vickers. I've seen them on socials loving life in Glasgow, loving life with fans as well. And that's what it means. And small things like that, you take 5 minutes of your time to go and speak to a fan, to go and celebrate with the fans, and it means the world to them as well.
Well, listen, it's always great to see you here. Wish you the best of luck on Sunday. Also wish you the best of luck next season with Ayr United. Still be cheering Celtic on that friendly.
Come on, Paul. We'll take a 0-0 draw right now, okay?
But hopefully, at some point, that you lead that Ayr United team back up and we get to see you in a competitive game here at Celtic Park, which would be great.
That would be lovely. But, not going to lie.
Brilliant. But thanks, as always, for joining us on the Celtic FC podcast. Like, subscribe, review, wherever you get your podcasts. And fingers crossed for Saturday. Until we see you again, it's hail, hail.